Queen Carvania stood haloed by the morning sun. An army hung on her every word.
My champions, I have sold my chariot on Carvana. 'Twas a lovely SUV, an inexplicably queenly offer. They're even coming to the castle to collect it. Tonight, we feast! An offer you can feast on. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
This episode is brought to you by Google Chrome. You think you know a browser, but Gemini and Chrome? That's new. It can help you with practically anything on the web, like restoring a vintage motorcycle from a 50-page restoration blog, or finally break down that long article you've had open for weeks. Gemini and Chrome is here for it. Ready to make anything online make sense? There's no place like Chrome. Check responses, setup required, compatibility and availability varies, 18+.
This episode is brought to you by ChatGPT. Hey, it's Bill Simmons from the Bill Simmons Podcast. Have you guys heard about ChatGPT work? It's the new way to use ChatGPT for bigger multi-step projects. And when you need more than just answers, give ChatGPT work access to your apps and files, and it can create real work documents like spreadsheets, slides, and structured reports. Get started at chatgpt.com by selecting work mode, available on Plus and Pro plans.
The biggest moments in sports are streaming live on Fox One. From MLB to NFL, Big Noon Saturdays, and so much more. Fox One brings you the games, rivalries, and can't-miss moments all season long. And it doesn't stop at the final whistle. Catch highlights, expert analysis, interviews, and the stories behind the biggest moments in sports. Watch live or on demand, at home or on the go. Stream Fox Sports on Fox One. Download the app today.
Avatar: Fire and Ash is now streaming on Disney+. It's the film critics are calling the best Avatar yet.
Yeah. Go, 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 go!
A true epic and completely jaw-dropping.
This is the only pure thing in this world.
Return to Pandora on Disney+.
It will be an adventure for the whole fam.
And watch the Oscar-winning phenomenon at home.
This is sick!
Avatar: Fire and Ash, now streaming on Disney+. Rated PG-13.
My assignment: uncover why the association inspires more conspiracy theories in volume and salience than any other U.S. sport.
So you've heard of the Illuminati.
The truth is out there, but so are lies.
Your eyes can deceive you. Don't trust them.
The NBA has always been controlled by about 8 people.
Denial is the most predictable of all human responses.
If you're only using 10% of your brain, you don't even know that you're using 10% of your brain.
The NBA Illuminati.
If coincidences are just coincidences, why do they feel so contrived?
The Illuminati.
But you start to follow the money, and you don't know where the f*** it's going to take you.
It is unspoken. They have influence among other players.
The NBA Illuminati.
I don't have time for your convenient ignorance.
Maybe I'm a conspiracist now as well.
That's all it took. Oh, we got books, we got schools. You saw a video on YouTube.
Why am my eyes, sir? You've never used them before.
We are the basketball Illuminati.
Ethan, we just had Yaron Weitzman on, and he has a...
Before you get into a question, Ethan, have you watched House of the Dragon?
This is where I was going.
No, I thought it... Oh. Well, I did. I thought it was... Look, I saw the first season. I thought it was terrible. People tell me it got better, but it was one of the worst viewing experiences I ever encountered. So I'm not coming back. But anyway.
Well, let me just say, number one, it is really good. Number two, it shows with your dated references. Queen Cersei, nobody knows who the fuck that is, man. You gotta get
some millennial garbage.
Hey, boomer.
Well, look, I thought that was a good one. I had that song stuck in my head where she doesn't intend to bear the consequences of not showing up. And I was thinking about Jeannie. Jeannie doesn't intend to bear the consequences of blocking the Lakers' sale. So in my mind, it fits. But you could tell me what I'm missing and who Jeannie Buss really is.
She is the chosen successor. She is Rhaenyra Targaryen wearing funky eye makeup, spinning out in front of the people, addressing the crowd.
The prince was promised.
Sharing a bunch of inside information that doesn't necessarily land on the ears of the common man. That's who she is.
Look, I'm sorry, and I wasn't current, and I just happened to reference a show that was watched by like 20 million people instead of, I don't know, 2 million people and some Redditors. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It is crazy,
I'm sorry
though.
I referenced something timeless as opposed to ephemeral.
It's funny how like the monoculture now is like where everyone's like, oh, this Genie Bus thing is Succession. No, it's Game of Thrones. And you can't even have a monoculture that will agree that this is Game of Thrones because it's dated. Now it's House of the Dragon is now the more apt TV show by which we make comparisons in this country. So
it's a better comp. It's a better comp than Cersei. Like is.
This is like if I made dude, this is like if I made a Sopranos reference and you said, the better reference would be Lioness or some other show.
No, it's not that it's old. I'm giving you a hard time because it's old, but it's not that. It's not quite as apt. Cersei was not promised the throne by her father. That's what this all comes down to.
Or did I not reference the better or more popular show? I mean, answer me now.
What about? All right, so let's go from LA to where I live in Phoenix. Matt Ishbia, he's facing a little financial distress. Can we call it that?
Yeah.
So, Ethan, I'm curious because I didn't read the entirety of your column today, but the gist that I'm getting is that you're like, this is good for the NBA.
Which aspect?
Or at least good for Adam Silver. Just the invitation of these entities that are like, it's all leverage and
private equity, sovereign wealth, the NBA. Adam Silver opened up the coffers.
These entities that makes me feel as though Adam Silver is standing on top of a building in Independence Day, welcoming the aliens and not seeing what's coming as the
basically
raid.
did.
Oh, you like that? Oh, you like that current reference?
That movie reference, yeah.
That's a good
Check
one.
their bank accounts. Let's see with those aliens they can close some deals.
That one was apt.
Yeah, those entities.
So I was talking to Tom. I said to Tom yesterday on the phone, I said, this is the first time I've ever felt like Adam Silver, you're on thin ice. Your job might be on the line here. With everything that's happening, all of these very large enterprise level issues. I believe you're here to tell me that I'm wrong, that this is actually good for business.
Look, I have created a concept, and I don't want to stray from the concept. And that concept is
Cersei.
The Summer of Adam. That's the concept. And if I see something, maybe I'm going to overapply that something and fold it into the idea that Adam Silver is riding high with these skyrocketing team evaluations. Did you know, Amin, that Roger Goodell, NFL commissioner, was so humiliated by how much money the NBA is getting in TV that he tried to break his contract with his broadcasters, and they said, no, go away. And with his tail tucked between his legs, he had to scurry off because he doesn't have it like Adam has it right now. Look, I'm not saying everything happening is good. I'm just saying if the sale actually does go through with the Lakers, for instance, and it's not blocked, which would be a disaster, it would just represent some sort of get out of jail free card, where it would have been a disaster with Walter potentially going to jail or God knows what. But instead, Lakers are sold to powerful entities. NBA evaluations continue to rise. And if you're Adam Silver, that's the only thing you really care about. It's scoreboard, scoreboard, scoreboard.
It's going up and to the right is what you're arguing. What Adam Silver would argue is that the valuations are going up and to the right. The player contracts are going up and to the right. And the TV deals are going up and to the right.
And Mark Walter is going back and to the left.
And to the left. And to the left.
Henry Abbott has a piece out today on True Hoop that says, wait a minute, let's do the math here. Josh Kushner is worth $5 billion and Bob Iger is, let's just call it, worth $1 billion, and they just bought the Lakers for a price of $12.5 billion. How does this all add up? And the answer is, well, there's probably other entities, if that's the episode title today, other entities that might come in here, more specifically Abu Dhabi sovereign wealth funds that already invested into Mark Walter, and then an investigation happened with the feds. And now the question is, Josh Kushner, Bob Iger, where are they coming up with the money for this? And to Amin's point, who cares? 12.5 is 12.5, which was 10, which Matishna got in at 6, and Wick Grusbeck sold for 10 with the Celtics. Who cares if we're all getting rich off of it?
Yeah. I mean, look, to make more dated movie references, more mid-90s smash hit blockbusters, this whole how do you make the money work when these guys don't have the money to pay for the teams? It reminds me of Dino DNA, only it's financing and private equity. You don't have the money. We have this spackle that we can just throw at the situation. And hey, as long as the franchise values continue to rise, I guess nobody has to worry much about it. And owning an NBA team has just transitioned from more of a family business to an asset. And when the NBA relaxed rules for private equity, they pushed it through in 2020. I think it became official in 2021. It opened up a whole new world, a whole money pool of different bidders. And now the person buying the team didn't have to have as much hard cash to get it. Now, I don't know how rich Joshua Kushner is, though, is what I would say. I think maybe other people have numbers on it. That's a little bit opaque to me. I think it's really hard to know when somebody holds, for instance, so many shares of OpenAI, maybe around the most outside of Microsoft. I don't know what that's worth. And with Kushner, it's this matter of he's got some exits coming up. And maybe those exits are more than enough to just buy the Lakers. But I don't know if this is all happening in a timing where he's actually going to make those exits. So what would naturally have to happen is that the purchase has to be financed. And that's where you can get into some of this tricky territory the NBA has been in. I'll make one other point here, because Amin said he didn't read the entirety of the piece. I feel like he did. I feel like he, based on his references, he just didn't want to give me the satisfaction, and that's what's happening here. But in case he didn't, I'll mention something else in there. The NBA is a little bit different from the NFL, not only with the more relaxed rules for private equity, but just the owners that they're getting and the owners they have. The NFL, the owners, maybe they have some problems, there's some overlap, but pretty stable. You look down a list of NFL owners, it's a lot of oil and gas and actual brick mortar companies. The NBA's got more of this funny money. The NBA is a lot of mortgage, hedge funds, tech, and you never know who's holding what. And hey, I guess as long as the valuations continue to go up, it's not much of a problem. But we're seeing some of the effects or externalities, if you will, right now of an ownership class whose money is a little bit less steady and stable than what you see in the NFL.
I do want to hit on the OpenAI thing quickly, because I don't know if it's happening in your little suburban East Bay residence, but over across the bay in San Francisco, all these upcoming AI IPOs that are looming has caused an insane spike in rent and also home purchasing, where now any home that goes on the market is basically closing from anywhere from 50% over asking to 100% over asking within a number of days.
Not even less than that.
Like as soon as possible, as soon as these things can go, including one house I saw was listed for stock. Like they would take stock instead of cash for the house. And it's Josh Kushner is essentially trying to pay over market for a house that is the Los Angeles Lakers with upcoming AI stock money. And it's unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. And boy, in the Bay Area, if you live in the Bay Area, it's like you get to perpetually live in a futuristic version of the 1920s, where you just are always in either one side of it or the other side of it. You're either flappers and decadence, or you're, oh my God, I got to jump out of a window. And then it's flappers and decadence time. And I have already been through a variety of cycles of it. Now, Kushner's regarded as one of the best investors or most successful tech investors. Again, I'm just saying this to say that I don't know what he's got, but then the Bob Iger component is so strange. What is Bob Iger's role in this if he's not providing the money? I said it's almost inverted. In theory, you should have the rich old benefactor and the young guy who's running things. The money man should be the rich old benefactor. The guy with less money should be the young guy running things. This seems like it's flipped, where the millennial has the money and Bob Iger at 75, after a largely failed comeback tour of Disney, is now going to be the guy. He's going to be running the show. And I would assume, and this is recklessly speculative, I might assume that he has the juice to accomplish that without putting up most of the money because he's the inside man.
Yes.
Because there's a finder's fee in all of this.
Well, so do you know, like, I think this leaked the other day, the Thrive Eternals, like, mission statement is raison d'etre, right? And it's all about how, hey, the money is in legacy brands that mean something. And so we're out to acquire these things that stand the test of time. And so when you look at it in that context, oh, that makes sense why they would go after FIFA, why they go after the Lakers. Like, these are things that they're not creating brands. They're buying brands that are just too big to fail, in essence. So then you see it from that standpoint, you realize, oh, it's the most soulless. It is the most capitalistic, cutthroat. They don't give a shit about soccer. They don't give a shit about the Lakers. They give a shit about, this is how we're going to continue to make money, is by owning these forever brands. So if that's your standpoint as Thrive Eternal, that's where the eternal comes from, these eternal brands, then it makes sense why Josh Kushner is the money guy. And then on the other side, with Bob Iger, Chris Paul's my best friend, and I'm married to an old girl from Inside Stuff, and Adam Silver's one of my close friends. It's like, oh yeah, it makes sense that he's the guy that wants to do this for the prestige of owning the Lakers, of owning an NBA team in general, but the Lakers specifically. But to me, as long as the money looks at this shit like a condo on South Beach, we're fucked, because nothing matters, in essence. Nothing matters. All that matters is the highest return on investment. And so we're always going to be in this state of flux. And in that way, I kind of envy the NFL for having ownership that is rooted in something that is not as speculative as where our league is going to. Now, I'm talking about where their money comes from. I'm not talking about the NFL's money. I'm talking about the individual owners. Their money is rooted in something a little bit more solid than the speculative nature of basically where our guys come from, whether it's mortgages, whether it's tech, or whether it's just straight up fucking making money off of money.
And I'm sure you see this in the NFL as well, but there is something interesting to me about these guys are buying these teams with absolutely no connection to these teams. I know that sounds quaint, but I'm used to an era where Mark Cuban is the Mavericks super fan and he buys the Mavericks. Now it's Tom Dundon buys the Blazers, speculatively, appears to hate the Blazers. I know people might reference what happened in Oklahoma City and Seattle, but that situation is arguably different, because at least in that case, they had a distinct vision of, I want a team in Oklahoma City because I'm an Oklahoma kind of guy. Now it's an asset. It can be flipped. And I know some people in the tech world, not to brag, or some people would say that's the opposite of bragging. I don't know. But I was told that Kushner views this not as an asset, but he wouldn't sell it if it was worth 10x of what it is. And that just has me asking some questions, because I wonder, what does it represent to him? Kushner and Bob Iger are Knicks fans. Again, quaint that team fandom would enter into any of this. But what does it mean then to have the Lakers? What does it mean to have the Lakers but not be running the Lakers because you have Bob Iger running the Lakers? I'm not saying the person who told me that is wrong. They know him, but I just have a lot of questions. It doesn't totally hang together. One other point to make, because I don't know how many people are talking about this. I additionally find it interesting that Bob Iger presides over Disney giving the NBA a lavish TV contract that I don't think they're entirely unhappy about, following a great finals and all that, but it was a lot of money. A lot of money. Like I said, so much money relative to what you would expect from the NBA that Roger Goodell is pissed. He leaves Disney and then potentially through connections, through his friend Adam Silver, gets to run the Lakers without having the money to do so. That's kind of an interesting move right there. It all makes sense, but I just find that one to be rather intriguing. I don't know how I'd feel about it if I were a Disney shareholder.
Yeah, the quote from Dave McMenamin's story at ESPN is that Bob Iger and Adam Silver are close. One league office source told ESPN, quote, "They're not just business close, they're vacation together close."
Banana boat close, these two.
Well, I think that's, it was described to me, the Bob Iger Kushner, and it's interesting. Henry Abbott was also onto this, is that now people are just saying this is Iger's purchase. They're just kind of already tossing Kushner's side. Iger this, Iger that. And because I was wondering, like, is there something there that, how convenient that when Mark Walter needs to sell the Lakers, it is a closed auction, not even an auction, it is a closed deal with no bidding war, and it was given to Kushner and Iger. And we know that Adam Silver is super close, vacation close to Bob Iger. And Bob Iger had said to some, I think it was California press, that he found out maybe there was a chance that Walter wanted to sell. And I mean, you're right. Like, wow, they didn't even put it to a bidding war. Like, the Lakers are for sale. Give me all your bids. Let's go.
Well, let me.
That's weird that the Lakers, who had a really valuable asset, they wouldn't open it up to a bidding war. That's crazy.
Where did they get that idea? Maybe from Nico Harrison, perhaps? But as it was described to me, I was talking to someone about this, is if you're trying to sell your house and you need to sell it like now, like you need a cash influx right now, do you hire a realtor, sign up agent fees involved, put it on Zillow and put it on the market when you can have one call to a buddy who's been all over you? I want your house and I'm going to pay $12.5 billion for it. You don't need to put it on a bidding war in an auction, because an auction takes time and it gets messy and then you got to go back and forth. So maybe this is not a backroom deal with Adam Silver and Bob Iger. It's just, hey, we can close this deal real fast and you're going to turn a $2.5 billion profit in less than a year. Walter says, all right, I'm done. I don't even need to do a bidding war. There's nothing shady about this. I got 12.5 for an asset that I bought less than 12 months ago. So is it really all that, not nefarious, but is it all shadowy that this happened, where it could have been just, there's only a few individuals who would have the buying power to get $12.5 billion, and one of them happens to be one of Adam Silver's good buddies.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that it's nefarious, but I would say it's sketchy. I mean,
yeah, I think that's the point of it is, first of all, the reporting that came out was, again, 2 calls, 72 hours apart. And that's basically the gist of how the sale gets done. The idea is that Mark Walter's not looking, that this happened to fall in their laps, right? The idea that, hey, they are guys that follow the news, and maybe whether it was just a savvy investment, kind of impulse or a tip, but knew that Mark Walter was in trouble and needed money. All that's fine to me. The part where it's like, hey, they're offering this. The idea that like, no, this is as good as it gets. Let's just get this done. That's the part that I can't reconcile.
It's you wonder if a lot of homework is being done when it's happening that fast, and
doesn't feel like it.
Again, I find the Iger thing again. I keep returning to it, and I'm not trying to accuse anybody of anything nefarious, but to me, it's just, let's just call it interesting that at 75, he's potentially getting to act as owner without the money to do it. But it makes sense as a favor. If it is a favor, and we're speculating, that deal Iger signed for NBA TV rights, how much in its entirety did Disney pay the NBA is a question I would ask to you guys. I know the answer, but I just, I think it puts the situation into stark relief.
Well, then you throw in the bubble. I mean, I don't know, of the $70+ billion, how much did Disney and ABC pay for it? Is that?
Yeah. It's just a little bit over $28.6 billion. So I think if you're Adam Silver, you might feel a little indebted, right? If Iger decided, for instance, at that moment in the NBA's history, hey, we're getting out of this business, it's too expensive. There were a lot of murmurs of that. The way that you saw happen, for instance, at old Warner Brothers, when that was going down, that would have been a disaster. At that point, NBC could have just dictated whatever price they wanted. There wouldn't have been another competitive bidder. So I think Adam owed Bob a favor, and they're very close. And so, hey, I guess in fairness, the price is not cheap. It's not like the Lakers suddenly sold for $7 billion and we're going, whoa, what happened there? So it was pushed upward at least. But again, this is a sort of preferential treatment or a favor that only makes sense but for the finder's fee. It doesn't make sense otherwise. It doesn't make sense that Bob Iger would be running the Los Angeles Lakers. What makes sense is the person who buys the Lakers with most of the money runs the Lakers. And these situations we see, like what happened in Dallas, where they announced initially that Mark Cuban will stay on as governor and he just gets gutted, that's generally how it's supposed to go. Does that bring us to this discussion of this genie situation? I don't know. We can take this conversation wherever you guys want to take it. It's your podcast.
Thank you for giving us permission.
And the move to the iced coffee after
welcome.
that.
You're welcome. Well, okay.
Well, Ethan, hold on.
Let
me ask about the expansion part of it. Because Iger and Kushner were already front runners, it seemed, for the Vegas expansion team. Now, that seems like you'd already be at the top of the list if Adam Silver is looking for a new owner and the Lakers happen to come up on the block. So obviously there is the Disney aspect of it, but how much of it could be you were already on our short list for potential expansion ownership, and also this will help drive up the price of expansion teams when that comes around?
Summer of Adam, baby. This is very compelling. Are you trying to tell me that he's doing a bad job? Is that what the argument was? I think the nuance with Adam Silver is that he's doing an excellent job at what he conceives of as his job. His job is money goes up. I'm sure you guys talk to people in NBA ownership, and they're happy. They're often happy because money goes up, and that's what he does. He pushes the price. And to what Amin is saying, I do sympathize with it, because in driving that and making that the singular lodestar, a lot of the institutional NBA culture appears to be getting washed away. It's something I hear from people in basketball ops, which is the new owners are crazy. They're crazy. It's all just this investment. It's all just this branch of private equity. It's all just an asset. And I think the Vegas conversation perhaps should be part of that. I know this isn't top of mind right now, but May's brought it up. Why is Las Vegas the apple of everybody's eye? That city's in decline.
Ethan,
it's rough right now.
I've been talking about this ever since they start saying we're going to have a team in Vegas. Number one, these casinos are struggling. Just start there, right? Yeah. And that is the main driver of business in that town, corporate money in that town is from the casinos. Number two, if you want to play in Vegas, you're going to have to build a new building. The NBA does not like T-Mobile Arena. I think that's part of the reason why we're not going back for NBA Cup this year. So you got to build your own building. All right, 44 home dates for regular season and preseason. Let's go crazy and say you get 16 home games for playoffs. That gives you 60 home night dates. That means you have 300 plus nights where you're dark. So how do teams usually fill those 300 plus nights? Whether I'm in Chicago, whether I'm in San Antonio, what are those 300 plus nights? Well, we have the rodeo, and we have Disney on Ice, and we have Lady Gaga, and we have whatever, and like with the MAC championship and the ACC, whatever it is. That's how you fill it up. Cool. The problem is, in most major metropolitan areas, you have one, maybe two of those size buildings that you're competing against. In Chicago, they got one. United States, Chicago, massive metropolitan area. There really is one venue of that size that gets the marquee events. In Dallas, they've got one for now. In Houston, they've got one, right? In Vegas, you got 8 billion of them because they all have all these buildings. But the difference is, in Vegas, I can underbid, right? If I'm Mandalay Bay, I say I've got an arena. It's not 20,000 seats, but it's 15 or 17 or whatever it is. Yeah, come to play Mandalay. You know what? I'll take a loss on it for you to play Mandalay Bay. Why would I do that? Because I think all these people are just going to file out into my gaming floor and give it all back. If you are an NBA owner in Vegas and you do not have a gaming license, you're basically saying, I got to compete against everyone else, but everyone else gets to funnel their people onto the floor. And all I'm doing is saying, thanks, come again tomorrow night. And then that's before we get to like just every other version of this, like your corporate suite sales and all that stuff. Vegas is not a big town. And it doesn't have that many people. So your season ticket base isn't going to be great. They're already saturated between the Raiders and the Golden Knights, who have first mover advantage. You got the A's coming in just a couple of years. All of these things are like, yo, this sounds like a fucking awful market to be in.
Oh,
small. You go ahead.
I'll add another one. Most of the people in Las Vegas are Lakers fans. You're going to ask them to give up being a Lakers fan to go try this new team? Interesting.
Yeah.
So small, not enough. The corporate money is stretched because everyone's putting money everywhere. You're incredibly competitive in terms of an entertainment option for the casual or the everyday person. Used to be like you're deciding, do I go to the opera, or do I go to the movies, or do I go to a game? Now you got to throw in all the other games that are happening in town, right? And like competitive, even just filling your building with dates is going to be a competition. Whose idea of this is a good business decision? And that's why I landed on, we're never getting a team in Vegas, because anyone who's interested is going to do this math and be like, this fucking sucks. I'd rather go to Kansas City or Columbus or somewhere like that where I could be the only game in town.
It's the stalking horse potentially. And look, there are people who argue there are corporate sponsorships you can achieve with Vegas that are better than elsewhere. And I'm not going to tell billionaires that they're wrong about their calculations when it comes to this, but I agree with everything Amin said. And I just don't, at a certain point, get it. People point to the success of the Raiders, and that's about 17 games. Those are events. NFL games are events. They're weekend events. Everybody flies in for the NFL game. I don't know if there's enough fuel for that with basketball.
Especially they fly in from Oakland, which is like an hour and a half flight. Like, how many people come from the Bay Area or LA who are Raiders fans, which say, we'll make a weekend of it?
Yeah, that's a lot of it as well. NBA, you need people there Tuesday night in January. You need a different perpetual clientele. And so the allure of this, the appeal of this, it fits with a certain decadence. It fits with how the NBA feels like a casino right now in of itself, but it doesn't make a lot of sense. And then there's this irony to the whole thing when it comes to Vegas that I find intriguing, which is the first move Adam Silver made when he became commissioner. A lot of people say it was banning Donald Sterling, but it wasn't necessarily banning Donald Sterling. It was an op-ed in the New York Times arguing for the legalization of sports gambling. Now, there are a lot of reasons Vegas is in decline, and a lot of people have theories about what's happening. But I think a component of that is, well, why would I get together with my friends and go to Vegas and do sportsbook stuff? I think Vegas, a lot of people are asking that question. Yeah, it's on their phones. And so there's something funny about the NBA using Vegas as a stalking horse, as it contributed along with the other leagues to hurting Las Vegas and ruining some of its value proposition to men who would want to venture there and waste their money on sports. So I find that aspect to be ironic as well.
Folks, let me tell you, especially when I was younger, banking sucked. Put this amount of money in to open an account, but we're going to take this amount of money every month. And oh, you were 34 cents over. We're going to charge you $35 in overdraft charges, all this stuff. And you're just giving away money to a bank who was supposed to hold your money. Well, not with Chime. Chime is changing the way people bank. They offer the most rewarding fee-free banking. This is fee-free banking built for you, not like traditional old banks that charge you overdraft and monthly fees. They have thousands of fee-free ATMs. Imagine getting your own money out without having to pay. Incredible idea, right? You're not just switching banks. You're upgrading to America's #1 choice for banking with a Chime checking account. You get 5% cash back on Chime Card in a category of choice like gas or groceries. They also have Spot Me, which lets you overdraft up to $200 fee-free. Join the millions who are already banking fee-free today. Head to chime.com/basketball. That is chime.com/basketball. It only takes a few minutes to sign up.
Chime is a fintech, not a bank. Banking services and Chime Card provided by Chime's bank partners. Qualifying direct deposits required. Terms and limits apply. Go to chime.com/disclosures for details.
This episode is brought to you by Google Chrome. You think you know a browser, but Gemini and Chrome? That's new. It can help you with practically anything on the web, like restoring a vintage motorcycle from a 50-page restoration blog, or finally break down that long article you've had open for weeks. Gemini and Chrome is here for it. Ready to make anything online make sense? There's no place like Chrome. Check responses, setup required, compatibility and availability varies, 18+.
This episode is brought to you by ChatGPT. Hey, it's Bill Simmons from the Bill Simmons Podcast. Have you guys heard about ChatGPT work? It's the new way to use ChatGPT for bigger multi-step projects. And when you need more than just answers, give ChatGPT work access to your apps and files, and it can create real work documents like spreadsheets, slides, and structured reports. Get started at chatgpt.com by selecting work mode, available on Plus and Pro plans.
Stream the biggest moments in sports live on Fox One. The biggest names, the biggest games, the biggest matchups. Watch live or catch up on your schedule. At home or on the go, never miss a moment. All on Fox One. Stream now.
There's the part of me that everyone sees. I'm Howie Mandel, the comedian. Apparently, I know what funny is. Funny bought me a house, but I also know what isn't funny. OCD. I've lived with OCD my entire life, and people throw the term around like it's no big deal. But OCD is severe, often debilitating. It's a mental health condition that involves unrelented, unwanted thoughts that can make you question your character, your beliefs, even your safety. General therapy can help with some things, but for OCD, it can actually make things worse. That's why I want to tell you about NoCD. NoCD is the world's largest treatment provider for OCD and is covered by insurance for over 155 million Americans. Their licensed therapists specialize in ERP, the most effective treatment for OCD. If you think you might be struggling with OCD, go to nocd.com to book a free 15-minute call. They are here to help.
Did you have an opinion or want to weigh in about ESPN having the report on Steve Ballmer that the NBA did not find? Kawhi, I think what you might be more interested in is that the NBA came out with a statement to say that there were numerous fabrications and untruths in there, inaccuracies.
Before you say anything, Ethan, before you say anything, real quick, I just want to point out that we've been reporting on this story since September of 2025. So that's about, 11 months now at this point.
Closing in on the anniversary. I can't wait for the birthday cake.
In 11 months and all these episodes and all of these things that we've uncovered and drawn connected dots on, the NBA has not once, Mike Bass has not once come close to dismissing us as vociferously as he did this ESPN report within minutes of its release.
Was that a mic drop?
Yeah. Well, he's still holding it, but yeah.
Yeah. I can't drop this.
Out of respect for me, the producer, he's still holding the mic, but metaphorically.
Excuse my ignorance, because I was trying to track everything. It was a crazy day in the NBA on Monday.
Yeah, sure was.
Have they specified what the inaccuracies were?
No.
Nope.
They say that when the investigation is concluded, it will all become obvious, Ethan.
They're using your tactics against you. They're teasing their response to you now and saying,
not to me.
But on the,
not my response to me.
The next episode.
Not the response to me. The response to ESPN, to Ramona and Don Van Natta and Baxter Holmes.
I don't like that. If you've got a problem with the inaccuracies, I think you have an obligation to explain what the problem is. There's no court of law, I suppose, or there's no way for me to just throw an arbiter at the situation. But if they've got an issue with the reporting, why wouldn't you just say what the issue is? Why wouldn't you just show where these alleged inaccuracies are? That part doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Well, the thing that is consistent with the two stories, the Lakers story and the Clippers story, is favors, is the idea of, hey, we're going to pay, what was it, $100 million for this Daktronics thing, when it could be actually an $80 million deal.
Yeah.
And then
it was a $100 million deal, but then there was another deal that was signed afterwards with Daktronics.
So the idea is
$100 million was $100 million, but
we'll overpay here in order for some of that money to be funneled elsewhere, which is like a favor. Hey, we're going to overpay here. If you can just this is the allegation, or one possible theory is that Daktronics would take that extra money and then pay Kawhi Leonard a no-show endorsement deal. And all of this is just like, hey, we're just going to sweeten this deal here a little bit more. Why don't we get a kickback on the other side? In the same way that Adam Silver gets a huge number for the Disney portion of that media deal, and in return, he'll take care of Bob Iger down the road. Now, with the Steve Ballmer story, who are the victims in that story? Like in the cap circumvention, who are the people who are banging down the doors of Adam Silver and on the league office and saying, hey, you need to hold Steve Ballmer accountable, because if you don't, X, Y, and Z is going to happen. I think it's other billionaires who would see Steve Ballmer, the richest owner in sports, playing with his monopoly money and getting away with it because he's worth more than God. And that's what I would imagine is the victims in this story. Are there victims in the Lakers story? Is it other billionaires who are upset?
It would be.
Like, hey, wait, suddenly you're just giving this sweetheart deal to Kushner and Iger that we were all trying to go vie for the Las Vegas franchise, and then you just give them the Lakers? And are we supposed to care? I guess this is a big.
We're not even getting into who the hell was Mark Walter and was any of his money real aspect of this whole conversation.
We did. You weren't on. we did that conversation already.
I know. But that was insane.
To Tom's point, like, who are the victims in the Walter sale? The victims are every billionaire who said, I would have bought the Lakers. I would have paid 12.5 if like someone had asked, if I hadn't gotten the sweetheart deal in, right? In the case of Steve Ballmer, the victim is theoretically the 29 other owners who are like, we can't allow him to basically run rampant, because then if he walks away with a slap on the wrist on this, then what's to stop them from doing it? And then if they're doing it, then we have to do it. And then at that point, the salary cap, which is designed to suppress our spending because, quote unquote, we can't help ourselves. If we're going to just say it does not exist, well, then we're back in square one of like, we've got to figure out ways to spend money on the sides. And if that's the case, then why don't we just get rid of the salary cap, which of course none of them want to do.
Nothing matters.
Nothing matters. Yeah.
Nothing matters. Well, it's the sort of feeling of, again, existential meaninglessness that a lot of people like the parody. A lot of people like the 8 new champions, but I do think that adds to it. Now, we're having this conversation in an interesting time because it follows this momentous New York Knicks championship that I don't know is accomplished without those rules. But I share this sense of everything is just up in the air and in the ether, and there's no institutional NBA. Now, my theory, I don't know if it's a theory, but I think one of the reasons why the NBA feels confident thumping its chest on a Monday and looking askance at all your nosy reporting into Ballmer and the Clippers is that Adam Silver looks at Steve Ballmer as not a problem relative to some of these other guys.
1,000%.
He's got money. He's got money. And if the other owners start complaining, it's like Costanza and Seinfeld. He's good. You're not. His money's real. Your money's fake. Just I don't care. I've got such bigger problems with the flim flam salesmen in this league with their speculative moving money around garbage that I value a situation with the Clippers where the guy's got more money than God. If he says he's going to pay us Friday, the money's coming Friday. And he's the owner. It's not one of these crazy situations where, is it Jeannie? Is it Bob? Is it Josh? It's not one of these. It's he's an owner. He runs the Clippers. He has a ton of money. And if he's circumnavigating the cap, ooh, that's sad. That's bad. Did he put anything in his name? He didn't? Okay. Moving on. Monday press release. I think that's what's going on.
Oh, Ethan, I would love to hear the how did Joe Lacob get the Warriors, because a lot of this is, Adam Silver sells to the highest bidder. He is a capitalist. He is a absolute, no matter what happens, even if the guy has some shady Fed dealings where the feds are coming in and raiding his private jet. I don't care. 10 billion is 10 billion. And who's the Kushner, the Kushner family cares? It's 12.5. Has there ever been a deal in which the NBA didn't go to the didn't go to the highest bidder? And the answer is, I think it was like the opening chapter in your book.
Yeah, it's true. When the Warriors were bought, Larry Ellison, who I guess we said Ballmer has more money than God. I don't know which one has more, if it's him or Ellison at this point, but they've got a lot of money.
Ballmer beat Ellison for the Clippers as well. And also, who was involved in the Ellison group? Mark Walter.
Oh my God.
Very interesting. Look at that.
It is so
Larry Ellison's net worth is reportedly at $192.6 billion. And he was, don't mean to shock anybody, very rich back when he was bidding on the Warriors. And if it's an auction, there's no way to beat Larry Ellison in an auction, especially if you're Joe Lacob and you're not a billionaire at that point. There's no way to do it. You're going to lose. So what Lacob did is he went directly to Coham with, let's say, some help from David Stern. And if you recall, Lacob was involved in the Boston Celtics ownership group. So there were pre-existing relationships with Stern in the league office. And it was an exploding offer. It was, we're paying this much money. You can sell it to me for this much money, but it has to happen now. And he broke the auction. He went underneath what was theoretically an open auction because Larry Ellison wins that no matter what. Now, why would David Stern favor doing such a thing? I think is a good question. I believe Stern valued being able to control the owners to a certain extent. And if they owed him a favor on the way into the club, that made it easier for him to pull rank on them. And it's great if they have money, but if they've got too much money, well, it's kind of hard to tell them what to do, as we're seeing right now. Maybe it's a little easier to tell a Vivek what to do than to tell a Larry Ellison what to do. So Stern said to me it wasn't quite cloak and dagger, but so, to read into that one what you will. And I think part of the story there is both guys wanted to increase value. They wanted to make everybody richer. Stern looked to China, but Stern also had this institutional sense of the NBA. There's this story that might be apocryphal where he was confused about why Adam Silver wanted to shift from McDonald's to Taco Bell. Taco Bell paid more, but McDonald's is McDonald's. It's an Americana brand in a different way. And from Stern's perspective, it's worth sticking with a McDonald's versus just jumping to the next endorser who offers you the most money possible. Bro. It's different with Adam Silver. He views it differently. And I think we're seeing some of the effects of that.
You just described it. You described exactly where we're at with the Lakers in that one little anecdote, right? Just the idea that that's who Silver is. He's created this environment where if Del Taco comes in with the biggest bid, guess what? We're going with Del Taco now. And there's no part of this.
We're off right? Taco Bell.
Yeah, we're off Taco Bell. We're done.
And Arby's, NBA.
Yep, but that's who he is, and that's how the league has operated. And now I feel like this is the end game. This is what happens. You are in essence a condo on South Beach. You exist, only get flipped and Airbnb'd and flipped again and Airbnb'd again, and this isn't anyone's home. And there is no sentiment. Forget sentimental value. There's no big picture, long-term value to holding the asset. The asset exists only to be rinsed and repeated. Damn.
Well, that's happy.
Yeah.
Well, doesn't it fall? Doesn't it, Ethan? To your point, where you've written about this extensively, is like I want home jerseys to be in white. Like I want all these jerseys not to be. I have to guess who's playing at their home arena, and these alternate uniforms. And the idea is Adam Silver just sees cash. Is like let's create all these different jersey sets and have people buy more merch that is exciting and new versions of merchandise empire. Whereas maybe David Stern would take a look at that and say, no, we need the Celtics white on their home floor and the Lakers gold on their home floor, because that's the McDonald's of this analogy. And it feels like Adam Silver's like, yeah, that's cute, but we're going to sell a lot more jerseys this way.
Yeah, he's saying, Tom, when I'm looking at these games, the only jerseys I see are green, baby. That's all I see out there. It really doesn't matter. Nike could dress them up in tutus as long as the check clears. That's what matters in Adam Silver's NBA. And again, I can't tell him he's doing a bad job. He's doing a good job in the way he conceives of as his job, in the way the owners conceive of as his job. He's like an AI. You tell the AI, do this. It might kill everybody on the planet to do this, but it for damn sure is going to do this. And he's doing this right now. Maybe you saw this. We've got Shams on Pat McAfee saying that Jeannie Buss and her lawyers believe that as long as she's the governor, it doesn't matter what the other siblings say. It's their belief that it's all about her vote. Oh my God, the chaos in LA.
And he's doing it again. Ethan also is producing the podcast once again. I love this.
Ethan really wants to talk about this Lakers thing. I get it.
Yeah.
No. I want to pivot to how I'm coming out with an album. It's called Diary of a Polarizing Substacker. Now, I'm not as musically gifted as some, so Tom might have to sing the songs, but it's in the works right now. It's an extension of my brand.
Amin and I had a pretty deflating conversation yesterday about whether the NBA, this is getting pretty meta here. Are you happy you're out of the NBA? Okay. Ethan, like watching how the NBA, what is it? It's turned into in the whole Jerry Seinfeld. You're rooting for laundry. Now it seems like we're rooting for a P&L line item.
Yeah, I don't know how much that factors into it. You know what factors way more into it than anything else, and this is going to be boring to people, but it's just that the Warriors moved to an area of San Francisco I can't find parking in. That's a lot of it. Where. Yeah, I can't be just driving in circles looking for a place to stop my car.
You ever try to get an Uber out of there? Jesus Christ. That's the nightmare. Yeah. I had to catch a red-eye flight. I went to the play-in game, I think where they beat the Grizzlies, and then I had a red-eye flight out of SFO. And there was like a strong period of time where I'm like, I'm not gonna catch this flight, not because I'm stuck in traffic. I can't even get an Uber.
Yeah.
You gotta walk west like a mile. That's the move. You got to get away from the 3rd Street corridor, get more towards the center of the city, and then you'll get out and escape. But yeah, Ethan is happy because he doesn't have to worry about parking.
Yes, that's a huge factor. And also going across that bridge.
What was your last year? What was your last year covering where you had to
2021. 2021.
Okay. So the title run, you weren't. I mean, really, 2021. You had COVID too, like so. Traffic wasn't even bad.
Yeah, well, I was there in the new arena right when all that stuff hit. And I remember being at Nate Duncan's house with Anthony Slater a few days before they shut down the NBA. And we were just kind of going through the chain reactions that were happening. And we all realized simultaneously what was going to occur. And then I went to a few games post COVID and masky and all that stuff. But I've been back a few times. It's just too much. And I understand that they have upgraded and they're out of East Oakland. But the beauty of a place that isn't, let's say, as high status is that there's just a lot of land and it's easy to get to and you can park your car. And the Warriors, I think they're doing quite well with the Valkyries too, in many respects, but they're in a tricky spot because San Francisco became a little more work from home. And the whole idea is everybody would get off work after their tech jobs and just walk down to the arena. And I don't know how everybody manages it, but somehow they manage it. God bless them. Wonderful for them. I didn't want to be part of that, but the cynicism and everything else, I don't know. There's a lot I miss about being more involved in the NBA. I definitely miss the energy of games. And the nervousness of the arena. Yeah.
Can I ask all three of you guys a question? If COVID never happens, do you think this thing still plays out the same?
What plays out?
Which thing?
You mean all of it? Like all of it. The crazy sales, the funny money, the TV deal being the thing that'll just erase every sin. Like, does all of this still play out the same way, or was COVID the basically the instigator, the stimulant?
Well, we can make a direct line.
So hard to know.
We can make a direct line that the NBA, does it sell the Lakers to Bob Iger if Bob Iger doesn't save the NBA in the bubble? That Adam Silver and Bob Iger, the whole bubble situation.
I mean, they were still boys. That's not the genesis of their friendship, right?
Oh, but it might have. I mean, you talk about favors. I mean, think about what the bubble did for the NBA. Mm-hmm. In the middle of the season, Rudy Gobert, March 10th or whatever it was, the whole world shuts down after that. And I remember at NBC, I had written so many times about this is a bad idea. This is a terrible. I'm talking to this public health official. I'm talking to this scientist that this whole idea of a bubble, it's going to break and there's no way they're going to be able to pull this off. And Adam Silver said, oh yeah? Bob and I got this, and they pulled it off. And then how many years later? 6 years later, he's now owning the Lakers.
And now Adam, famously bold and daring Adam Silver, he's like a riverboat gambler, baby. After that, he's just going to keep pushing the price. Who cares how much money on paper, whatever. And he's not listening to any of the nannying and nagging from one Tom Haberstroh. No, sir.
Well, yeah.
He's invalidated.
Would you say?
I mean, I don't really. I mean, hasn't the NBA more or less like completely recovered from COVID? Like, is there any long-lasting effects? Is it almost like COVID, unless you're saying that it drove people more towards watching and that it inflated the TV deal? I would say that it might have slowed it down. We might have been dealing with this earlier.
I guess my thing is, was so COVID a bump in the road? Was COVID like a slowdown and now we're back to normal? Or did the chain of events change
course? I think it was a bump in the road.
We were always heading here in some respect, but with TV, I believe COVID triggered a lot of the Nielsen reforms because broadcasters started going crazy when viewership just completely plummeted during the COVID span. Nielsen started offering concessions. They started inflating the viewership. I think sports television has been a recipient of a lot of those reforms and quotations. Look, if we went through this sliding doors of a virus in China, I think we could be talking for days. This is just one off the top of my head.
Is streaming a thing? Like, think about that. Like
streaming bubble. Stream bubble's over, baby.
But like, does it even occur? Because I was watching this thing about Disney Plus, right? And what Disney Plus was designed to do. And then COVID happens. And all of a sudden, like, the explosion of the streamers is linked to people can't go to the movie theaters. So now we're going, rather than licensing our stuff out to Netflix and like a couple other like streamers, now everyone's building their own and keeping it in-house, thus cutting off the home video revenue generating that would occur for movies that maybe did or did not do as well at the box office. All that happens. And so Disney, because of that, it has to create the inventory to justify Disney Plus. So it greenlights a bunch of shows and things that probably weren't going to be greenlit or would have taken time or would have come out as theatrical releases or would have come out on linear. Like, all of this is exacerbated and accelerated by people stayed at home for 4 months or whatever it was and needed stuff to watch.
I think there's a line you can draw between COVID and the TV deal being bigger. But I think that's probably the biggest impact of COVID on NBA currently. In terms of like money and ownership and all that.
I don't want to derail us too much, but I just glanced over and saw one of my favorite comments ever on an article of mine from a loyal subscriber in response to the recent article. You guys are going to like this. You guys are going to like this one.
I have.
Yeah. We're now in the gather step era of ownership.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
That is a good comment.
Yeah.
That is a good comment.
You going to credit them, or are you just going to say you can find that comment on the House of Strauss Substack?
Matt W, paid subscriber, Matt W. Congrats to you. That's an excellent comment. That's a good assessment of what's happening right now.
Is that
Matt Weiner? Huh?
Matt Wong?
Matt Weiner. Oh, yeah, the Matt Wong or Matt Weiner. I'm trying to think of all the NBA
Welch?
people with W's last names.
Wait, so okay, so we've arrived at the point where Amin is now dropped out again.
Oh, he's here.
Well, he's here, but yes. Sorry, picking up. Ethan, so you're of the mind that David Stern is watching all this and saying, "Good job, Adam," or he's saying, "Watch out! Hey, this is getting a little hot right now."
That's a great question. I can't know. those guys have such an entangled, strange relationship with one another to the degree that it would probably impact Stern's view versus if he was just making an objective call on what's happening in a different league. So I don't want to answer that question because I don't know. I know Silver dealt with things in a way that Stern would not have, but they generally had similar goals. And so there's a chance if you just showed Stern the numbers, he would go, whoa, okay. I guess that worked. The analogy I would make is Spike Eskin was against bringing LeBron James to Philadelphia.
No.
Radio guy out there.
Yeah, I know. We had him on the show.
He was against it. And when he was against it, a lot of people were calling up and going, I agree with you, Spike. I don't want him here either. And then one day, LeBron is actually on the Sixers, and Spike says, yeah, I still don't want him here. And they all go, what the hell? Get out of here, you hater. Because now you're actually feeling the effects of LeBron is on your team. I've made the other analogy to it's like people in theory might not want to date Kim Kardashian because maybe she doesn't have the greatest reputation. Maybe she's not the most loyal out there. I don't know. But if Kim Kardashian walks up and says, let's date, a lot of people might change their tune. And so perhaps
why would they do that?
I got an even more apt reference specific.
There you go.
Wozni Lambre, Big Woz, might talk a lot of shit about Daryl Morey.
Yeah.
But then if Daryl Morey walks up to him, he says, yo, what up, Demo? My guy. I love you.
And so that's my way of saying that maybe a David Stern or another commissioner would say, I wouldn't do it like this. I wouldn't handle it like that. There are pratfalls abound. But if you started returning some of the checks the NBA is getting and you hold those checks in your hand, it might change your mind.
Yeah, I think that's right. I don't think he would approve of the process, and if he's involved in every step along the way, there's probably a lot of pushback. But if he comes in at the end result, maybe there is a little more approval there.
Well, the question is this a bubble? The private equity, sovereign wealth fund, infusion of cash, is this a bubble that's about to burst? Because if it is, then yeah, we can all sit here a few months from now and say, how did we not see that the Mark Walter flipping the Lakers was not just the canary in the coal mine, that this was all going to come down?
It is crazy. The Lakers are worth $2 billion more a year later, and it's just based on not even a public auction, but something. I don't know. But maybe the NBA, maybe sports franchises don't have to operate according to the rules of standard businesses because they're a closed system. There's a finite amount of the assets, and we're going to make more rich people every year. And so you're always just going to have somebody willing to buy into it, and therefore they can operate speculatively absent some of the downsides. You see this, if you get into business with a Mark Walter in other industries, you're done. It kills you. You gave a huge responsibility to somebody whose money appears to be just built on sand. You're in the position that many of his lenders are now in. The NBA is not in that position. The NBA just goes, hey, anybody else want to buy the Lakers? Anybody want to buy the Lakers? You over there, over there. Oh, actually, no, we're not even doing that. I actually just know a guy. He'll buy the Lakers. And they can just keep doing that. They can just keep going.
I mean, what would the bubble popping be like, Tom? Because is it somebody selling the Lakers
Tom
for
Dundon runs the Blazers
much less? Like, because the Lakers and the Celtics selling is one thing, because those are two of the biggest names. So like if a small franchise sold, if the Pelicans sold, it's not going to be for $15 billion.
Well, the Blazers are the example, right? Like,
yeah, and what they sold for $6.
If the institutional and private financing, the private lending sector collapses, then a lot of the private equity ownership stakes, they'll try to get out. And because Adam Silver and the league decided, hey, you can go, I think it is up to 8 teams you can invest in private equity up to a certain percentage. If a lot of that market starts to collapse and they try to get out, then a lot of these teams all at the same time, this domino effect is just all these teams suddenly, these private equity firms are trying to get out of the NBA business all at the same time. And it's not, we just lost the Pelican, the New Orleans franchise. We got to go buy the New Orleans franchise because no one is willing to buy it. The nightmare scenario is, not all of the teams, but a dozen teams that had a huge influx of private equity money, that market has collapsed. That means all of these organizations that had an infusion of private equity money or institutional money, or their owner is involved in this business, the rug gets pulled out from underneath them. And that's the nightmare scenario. Is there is so much of one sector that the NBA is levered into that if that market collapses, then that is the true end game. And I think that would be the worst case. I don't think we're close to that yet, but I think if you're highly levered into one sector and that business starts to falter, then that's, I think, what that would keep you up at night if you're Adam Silver.
I just think maybe they're in a good spot. Maybe the finite nature of the amount of assets is protection. And a lot of the concerns and worries that the NBA might have is related to the concerns and worries other sports might have, but it's down the road. And that's that young people don't watch sports. But that bill isn't coming due for a while. That's an existential crisis for the future. Right now, riding high. And insofar as some of these owners blow up, that's okay, because it's like an NFL player. Just scrape them off the field and throw another guy in there. Let's go. Next play.
So eloquent.
This episode is brought to you by Google Chrome. You think you know a browser, but Gemini and Chrome? That's new. It can help you with practically anything on the web, like restoring a vintage motorcycle from a 50-page restoration blog, or finally break down that long article you've had open for weeks. Gemini and Chrome is here for it. Ready to make anything online make sense? There's no place like Chrome. Check responses, setup required, compatibility and availability varies, 18+.
This episode is brought to you by ChatGPT. Hey, it's Bill Simmons from the Bill Simmons Podcast. Have you guys heard about ChatGPT work? It's the new way to use ChatGPT for bigger multi-step projects. And when you need more than just answers, give ChatGPT work access to your apps and files, and it can create real work documents like spreadsheets, slides, and structured reports. Get started at chatgpt.com by selecting work mode, available on Plus and Pro plans.
Stream the biggest moments in sports live on Fox One. The biggest names, the biggest games, the biggest matchups. Watch live or catch up on your schedule. At home or on the go, never miss a moment. All on Fox One. Stream now.
I see you.
Avatar: Fire and Ash is now streaming on Disney+. It's the film critics are calling the best Avatar yet.
Yeah! Go, 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 go!
A true epic and completely jaw-dropping.
This is the only pure thing in this world.
Return to Pandora on Disney+.
It will be an adventure for the whole fam.
And watch the Oscar-winning phenomenon at home.
This is sick!
Avatar: Fire and Ash, now streaming on Disney+. Rated PG-13.
At ZocDoc, we know being a healthy adult is like living in a video game. Every day has side quests, taxes, laundry, birthdays. And just when you're leveling up, you have to book a doctor. The insurance portal crashes. They put you on hold. Your doctor doesn't take your plan. Game over. We see you. So we made booking a doctor easy. Download ZocDoc. Search by specialty, insurance, and availability. Book instantly. No cheat codes required. Find a doctor you love with ZocDoc.
How do you feel about your 49ers?
Oh, man.
Brock Purdy.
Doing
You're holding the stock
right now?
Oh, no, I didn't know. Ethan, would you like to talk about this since, you know?
Ethan's a Niners fan?
Well, he's a Brock Purdy holder.
Yeah,
Brock Purdy
despite myself.
Gilbert, Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. That's true.
I think he went to the same high school. He went to the same high school as Jalen Williams.
Which one?
It's they generate athletes out there.
Perry High School, Perry Pumas.
They do. I don't have a strong read on the Niners. The vibes are bad, but at the same time, I'm very much excited to see any sort of morsel. And like Mays, I gobble up any stupid internet chatter about the team. And the thing about the Niners is they have the most negative, but also the most active YouTube coverage of any team in professional sports. So that's what Mays and I are mainlining when we procrastinate. So I'm following all of it. And I like that Pablo debunked the substation mythology because I personally think it's about Kyle Shanahan and how he does practices. And yeah, it sucks that the other two teams in the division might be the best two teams in football, but otherwise they seem pretty good. That's the assessment.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. We might be like the 5th or 6th best team in the league, but we have to play against the top two. And did you see that Peter Cowan, the originator of the whole substation debacle, has pushed back on Pablo and accused him of outsourcing most of the research to Science Versus?
Well, I mean, I don't.
What?
I don't know.
I
go with my intuition.
Woman he brought on.
That's the delightful Australian woman who made a series of football puns despite not knowing the rules of football.
I think the best case against the substation is that we might be suggestible as human beings, and just having the specter of that thing hanging over you visually might influence what happens out there. But I don't actually think that the electricity is coursing through the veins of the players and causing them to pop Achilles tendons and whatnot. I think it is mostly the result, like I said, of the way Shanahan works guys and practices hard.
I love that, Ethan, because in my mind I'm thinking about like Tom Thibodeau being like, "It's a substation. We're right next to a substation."
It's
me. Become our very own.
Christian McCaffrey got how many touches last year? It's hilarious to me that the NFL's Tom Thibodeau is in the Bay Area, and he's obviously that. And instead, people have to come up with some sort of exotic explanation for what's happening. Christian McCaffrey, a running back in what season is it right now of his? I'm looking 9-year career as a running back. He got 311 rushing attempts last season. And God, I don't even know how many touches, 413 touches. And I know that's one guy, but that should give you an indication of how careful Kyle Shanahan is in general, if that's his approach with his running back 9 seasons into the league. I think it's how he does things. He's won enough that you can't really tell him to change things. I don't think it's the substation. That's not my belief. But I'm very excited. I don't even want to say who I'm excited about because of what happens with this team. But Stribling, Maze. Stribling.
Yeah.
Excited about Stribling? A little Stribling?
We get to bang that drum after week 1 of the preseason. The Strib Club, Ethan, is what we're calling it.
Oh, that was so good. So good. And Grayson Halton on defense looking excellent as well. But yes, I am cautiously optimistic about the 49ers, I guess.
What a strong take that was. I'm cautiously optimistic about the 49ers, I guess. It is amazing.
I want to do the wind horse. I don't do predictions, guys. I want to do the wind horse. I don't do predictions. I've got more takes and opinions. I think you guys, if you invested more into the NFL, would be surprised by, frankly, how much dumber it is than the NBA. That sounds elitist, but there are things that happen in NFL reporting that blow my mind.
How?
In NFL analysis. I'll give you an example with Brock Purdy. The aforementioned Brock Purdy. He was obviously paid the least of any player of note because he was the last pick in the draft. And so there's this gathering storm of this narrative that, oh, it's fine now for the 49ers, but when they have to pay him, they're completely screwed. This was a dominant NFL story for maybe 2 years. I only heard one outlet or just one group of guys, and that's Dieter and Hutch, who are CBA nerds. And it's a little like Nate and Danny over there at Dunked On, who are talking about, actually, there's some loophole where he counts very little against the cap because they can use his previous uber cheapness to sock a bunch of money away in a way where he's just less than 10% of the cap. And it's just totally get out of jail free card, total loophole. This doesn't
Something
happen
that the
in
NBA
the NBA.
capologist would snuff out immediately.
So like there's
Like,
not a lot of these
immediately.
guys in the NFL. Like there's not a lot of Eric Pinkuses and Nate Duncans and stuff.
I mean,
apparently not.
The NBA salary cap and the amount of analysis that is spent on it, I still don't understand the NFL salary cap. Like if you talk to me about like what Howie Roseman does with void years on the Eagles, or like how the Saints
But
ended
you don't.
up paying
but you know what?
But
They,
Anthony,
but
you
hold
don't
on.
understand it because they don't explain.
They
it
don't
to
talk
you.
about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say because I remember this. I worked with a guy when I was with the Suns. I worked with a guy who was he was our cap guy. He was a really bright guy, and I was like, yo, the NFL one is so complicated. No, he's like, no, it's not. They said their collective bargaining agreement, their salary cap is so much easier than ours. It's like a couple of things like what Ethan just described there, but for the most part, it's very straightforward. And if you can understand the NBA one, you could absolutely do the NFL one. Like, really? I'm like, yeah. It's just because you don't know it. But if you were exposed to it, it's easy.
They're also just, I think, in the statistical stone age. I've written about that, where they use these stats that it's like hearing baseball guys talk about RBIs. And,
but they don't. But like the front offices don't. The
No.
broadcast
I'm
do.
not talking about the front offices. I'm talking about the media, the broadcasters, his touchdown to interception ratio. One thing I've said is that interceptions are highly overrated in NFL culture. And I think some of that is just the emotions of it, where a guy gets an interception, the defense all does a dance for the cameras, and then everybody on Twitter is going, oh my God, what a bum. And like there are 10 to 12 offensive drives in an NFL game. I think an interception versus a punt might be about like a 2-point difference. If you crush it in your other 9 to 10 drives, you're just producing like gangbusters on offense. The name of the game is moving the ball, but it's almost like how in baseball strikeouts were overrated and people just didn't understand the stats. What I don't get is why it's still like that in football, like 30 years after baseball figured things out. Again, I sound like a nerdy little snoot, but my perspective is more having come from NBA world and gotten more in the NFL world. I just look at it and I go, man, the people covering the NBA, whatever you think of them, are just more analytical and deeper in the weeds and logical. And the NFL is just not caught up in that respect. Maybe it doesn't need to because people are just entertained by it and they like the vibes.
I'll go one step further. I think the NBA should adopt some of the nomenclature from the NFL. I think last year when Matisse Thybulle was stealing a bunch of these passes, like everything, it was crazy. It was like every pass that the Grizzlies threw, Matisse Thybulle will come out of nowhere, intercept it. And I was like, why do we never distinguish between picking up a loose ball steal and then like a passing steal? So in my mind, I'm like, I could just create a stat tomorrow and be like, Matisse Thybulle leads the NBA in interceptions. And people would instantly know what I mean by that.
Yeah.
And then I could say, let me pick a guy out of Steph Curry is the league leader in fumble recoveries. Is that he swipes the ball and gets the ball and then goes the other way. I feel like this could catch on. Is that we need pass interceptions,
fumble, interceptions, and fumble recoveries. I like this. I really like this as a concept because it does. But the funny thing also is what happens when there's a deflection and then someone else picks up, because it's dealer's choice, right? For the stat keeper, who gets the steal? Is it
We know do the half. It's like the half sack. The half sack like they have in football.
Tom. Tom. We're not going to do that. We don't do that anymore.
We have to defer to Ethan on where we're going to go. Yeah.
What do you mean? Oh, it's dealer's choice.
Amin
reference.
was bringing up, sometimes stack keepers decide to,
the deflector
pick one player
versus
to get the steal versus the other.
Versus the other guy who picks it up. Nope.
The Mike is this the Michael Jordan?
Nope.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's not nothing.
The other thing we need to get rid of is kicking, and I've said this many times. Just get rid of it.
Nah, man. Now that they're kicking 60-yarders, it's better than ever.
Kicking sucks.
Yeah,
kicking is awesome.
If you came to Mays over a year ago and Jake Moody was the field goal kicker for the 49ers, he would have agreed with you. But now he's got Eddie Pinheiro.
I'm pro getting rid of one kicker. I'm pro getting rid of a bad kicker, but kickers in general, now it's like between the kickoff thing and like they move the kickoff closer and the whole like starting field position has moved closer to the midfield. And now there's 60-yard field goals. Basically all you need is 2 completed passes. You got 3 points. It's awesome.
We're quiet quitting punting and kicking. Is that what we're doing? We're quiet quitting it. So it's like we're slowly phasing out the kickoff, right? So now you're just starting at a certain yard line. This happened. This is another topic, but the NBA decided to do this free throw thing where you take one free throw for 3 free throws. That was 3 points.
1 for 2. 1 for 2. Yeah, this was Ethan's,
1 for 2, 1 for 3, whatever.
Ethan wrote about this 15 years ago,
I really did. There are things that I feel like
I killed him for it.
There are 2 things that I swear to God I was first in, and there's no money in it. I didn't get anything like that guy who came up with Splash Brothers, never got a dime from the Lakers. But it was that, the 1 means 2, and it was, don't count buzzer heaves. It was those 2 things, and it was finally implemented.
Well,
Tom
was first to the mountaintop with Steph Curry doesn't shoot enough threes. I'll never forget that one. Tom's like, he needs to shoot like 7 or 8. And I was like, you're crazy.
He's 10. I said he should shoot 10, and people thought I was fucking out of my mind. They would ruin the game. And you know what? Maybe they were right. But to what I was getting at, Ethan, when people are saying, oh, the NBA product would be so much better if we just got rid of free throws and just took 1 free throw to count for 2, 1 for 2. I think it would backfire. Is that I think everyone just get more injured. So if we get rid of punts,
less of a break. Yeah.
You get less of a break. I mean, when you watch Giannis at the free throw line and Victor Wembanyama at the free throw line, they milk that clock and those 2 free throws for all that it's worth. They're up there for 6 minutes on those free throws because they're tired. They're so exhausted. And so without those, I think you would see Wemby play like 14 minutes and Giannis play 12. But that reminds me is if we got rid of punting, I feel like NFL running backs and quarterbacks and all the skill positions, they would get a whole lot more injured because now they have a whole nother down to play.
So there's a middle path here.
Punters.
There's a middle path here suggested by hedge fund guy and House of Strauss sponsor Steve Kuhn of Sports Predict. And again, I think this reflects how NFL is a little bit in the Stone Age and hasn't adopted some practices that might make sense. He's pushing this idea of 4th and smart, where he thinks it's crazy, since he's a poker player, to reveal exactly what you're going to do. He says that's a mistake. He says that in these special team scenarios, in a punt scenario, you should be 50-50 on whether it's going to be a punt or a punt fake, or at least really be worried about the punt fake. And there are potential formations where it could be either or, and then that changes your calculus of what you're doing with the gunners and makes how you defend the punt a different proposition. I think he's right. I think nobody's tried it because nobody's done it previously. And the second people start doing it, it'll be like when the Eurostep got going in the NBA and people went, oh, I guess I can take 2 steps sideways. So maybe it's not about punting getting totally phased out. It's more, it's got to be a mixed strategy, and the punt could easily be a punt fake. And that's what keeps things exciting, while not grinding the other skill position players into the ground.
Keep it fresh in the bedroom.
Exactly. I don't know why I said it like that.
I think you were excited.
Tell you, yeah. I mean, I don't want to talk too much about myself, guys, but I'm also.
He's back, baby.
Apparently, I'm going quasi-viral today because people have dredged up my Nike article from 5 years ago, and I'm getting credit for being a prophet who called Nike's decline, which I did not do at all in the article. And it's funny how you get credit sometimes
let it ride, baby.
For things. It's funny you get credit sometimes for stuff you didn't even do because people layer on interpretations, and it goes the other way too. You get criticized for stuff you didn't say or do. But I just said, I didn't really like the ads. I thought the ads were really bad. And now people are saying the Nike stock is like a...
Was this the one where you said like, hey, Nike ads used to be about, wow, man, if I put on these shoes, I can do amazing things like the people in these commercials. Yeah. And now all I see is a bunch of fat people. I was like, I could do that without Nike. I need Nike to be able to do that. That wasn't just me, the column.
This man is the Warren Buffett of our time, clearly.
What a prophet.
Because I guess some report came out there that Nike stock is at some new low and I don't even know what. And then somebody posted the article and said, this man explained everything. And I've written a lot about Nike subsequently, but it's just, it's funny that it's being taken as a generational call. So somebody said, did you short the stock? I was like, I wasn't thinking about any of that.
I don't own any stock.
No. I wasn't putting my money in stocks when I joined Substack. I was worried about
you had shorted it. Maybe then you could have bought the Lakers, Ethan. You know?
Apparently, God. If only I knew how to short a stock. I don't know how to short a stock.
Well, you
That's
walk
why
up behind it.
It's more Jewish than I am.
This is what you do, Ethan. You get one of your buddies to distract the stock. You walk up behind it, and in front of everybody, pull down his pants. There you go.
What a dad joke. What a dad joke from Amin right there. Anyway, I'm happy to receive and
6-7 test.
I'm so happy to receive credit erroneously though.
You killed Nike, Ethan. Great job.
But again, like people's like
I killed Nike again.
Ethan described it perfectly, and it's like, how did he describe it? He said he doesn't want to see fat people. It's such a. It's logical. I'm not gonna say it's illogical, but it's such a like a fucking caveman ass explanation. I'm like, I don't get it. Like, I used to watch like Bo Jackson and Deion Sanders and all these great Nike athletes and like Kenny Lofton, and now see some fat guy. Like,
there's a lot more. There's a lot more in the article to be sure, but the gist of the article is, man, these ads are great, and I loved these ads. These current ads, they suck, and let's try to figure out why they suck. But man, they really suck. And I don't know how that then turns into he foresaw everything collapsing.
I got Ethan with bandages around his eyes. He's blind. He's like, Nike collapse coming.
I like the Minority Report, like Nike collapse. Fat girl in ad, Nike collapse. I mean, apparently. I'll take it. Strauss-Stradamus strikes again.
This episode is brought to you by Chat GPT. Hey, it's Bill Simmons from the Bill Simmons Podcast. Have you guys heard about Chat GPT work? It's the new way to use Chat GPT for bigger multi-step projects. And when you need more than just answers, give Chat GPT work access to your apps and files, and it can create real work documents like spreadsheets, slides, and structured reports. Get started at chatgpt.com by selecting work mode, available on Plus and Pro plans.
I'm not giving up. I am selling the building.
The final season of FX's The Bear.
The restaurant is flooded.
Everything's either going to be okay.
No, stop!
Or not.
We are outgunned and we are outmanned, but we have each other.
FX's The Bear, the final season. All episodes now streaming on Disney Plus.
Ouch. This knee is killing me, but I can't stop training. The marathon is in 2 weeks.
Let's get on ZocDoc and find a doctor to take a look at that for you.
Okay.
Here's a review. Dr. Craddock really takes his time.
No, I don't have time.
What about Dr. Charles? His patients say he can help find a quick fix, and he's in network.
Great, now we're talking. Book it.
Booked. 1 mile down, 19 to go.
Bring it on.
You've got options. Download the ZocDoc app today.
Hi, Ryan Reynolds here for Mint Mobile. Are you looking for a beach read this summer? May I suggest your big wireless bill? It's got suspense, mystery, a slightly flat emotional arc, and a shocking twist where you realize you've been overpaying the entire time. Fortunately, though, Mint's story is better. Every plan, $15 a month, even unlimited. That's it. Happy ending, 0 tears.
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.